All right. To start your practice, bring your feet together like a book. And if it's not comfortable for you, have your one leg lie in front of the other one. So instead of crossing at the ankle or even at the shin, see if you can have the legs lie in front of each other. And to bring yourself to your practice, lift and shift the hips so you can feel your sit bones rooted down to the ground and you have a solid connection. Hands can be on the thighs to create a connection with the body, or if they feel comfortable to the side, maybe touching your mat and connecting with the ground, that works as well too. But wherever you're at, be certain that you can come up nice and tall without bringing the low back too far forward and the heart too far open yet. So have a nice, strong, solid spine. Maybe rolling the shoulders up and away and down from the ears. Just taking a few cycles here. Maybe as you inhale, you bring the shoulders up. And as you exhale, you let them drop. And take a few more rounds until you find a point of stillness for you. And then take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Sigh it out as you exhale. Full inhale. Sigh it out on the exhale. Take your full inhale in here. And if you want, on the exhale, stick out your tongue. And just begin to create a rate and depth for your breath. We'll be here for a few moments just to bring ourselves to our practice physically, mentally, maybe emotionally. Knowing that within this next hour, all that matters is what happens onto your mat and making the choices that you need to make this your practice. And when your next inhale happens, imagine that your nose is a hand on a clock and you're drawing up to midnight or 12 or noon. And then you can pick whatever direction you want. As you exhale, you come down to 6. And then as you inhale, you complete the circle and come up to 12. And as you exhale, you come down to 6. And slowly continue this pace. And while you're doing this, notice if there's any tension or any sticking points, any areas where you're having a little stuckness in range of motion. And know that's just where you need to be gentle. And if it feels good, say your nose goes to a point, 8 o'clock, we're at the 8 spot, and it feels good just to kind of pause there, you can pause there, you know. So you're just finding what feels good, what you need. And when you're ready, slowly changing the direction. And then find a point of stillness where you're neutral, looking forward. And then now, if you haven't already, place your hands on your thighs and make some shoulder circles, bringing the shoulders up and down, away from the ears. And it doesn't matter the direction, don't worry about that right now. You're just noticing how the scapulas or the shoulder blades are moving up the upper back. Maybe you notice some things that are going on in the shoulder joint. And though I'm not moving my elbows, you can use your elbows and move as well. And then reverse your direction. Awesome. And then find your stillness once again. Palms are on the thighs, sitting up nice and tall as you inhale here. Bring the chest forward, look on up into a seated cow pose. And then as you exhale, chin into chest, belly button into the spine, rounding the back for a seated cat. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your cat. And you're flowing here at a pace and rate that feels good for you. And eventually take as many cat cows as you need, and you can always stay flowing in your cat cow, but maybe you find yourself moving in a pelvic circle. So your sit bones are kind of rooted down and you're moving in a circular motion around that. And if you're doing the pelvic circles, reversing direction. And then eventually find some stillness, and maybe you take one more cycle of a cat cow just as a way to complete everything. Beautiful. And then slowly make your way so your hands are touching the bottoms of your feet and placing your thumbs in the center of your foot. In reflexology, it refers to the solar plexus area. And here, just close your eyes for a brief cycle, a breath or two, and really, as you inhale, imagine this connection with the thumb on the bottom of the foot. And as you exhale, imagine the cycle complete. Cool. And then pick a foot, any foot. And I want you to just pick up this foot, your foot, and just gently with your thumbs in the center, push them out towards the ball of the foot and spread your thumb. And then working your thumb up to the ball of the foot, the base of the toes. Take each toe, give it a circular motion one way, then the other. And work your fingers up the toe, each one. Sometimes we neglect our feet. We shove them in shoes. They walk and support us on things maybe they're not meant to be barefoot on. And then once you finish your toes and the ball of the foot, come down once again to the center. And then when you come to the heels, if you want, you can place your palms around the heels, or you can do some knuckles and kind of briefly rub around the heels. Maybe you thank your feet for helping you move forward. And then I always like to ring with my feet really quick. So I just take the foot and ring them. And then have both thumbs in the center of the foot. Take a full cycle of breath here. And gently and carefully switch sides. So choose the other foot. And starting off with the same thing. So placing the thumbs in the center of the foot. Maybe you gently start off in a circular motion. And you allow that circular motion to get bigger and bigger until it's coming to the balls of the feet. And then once you get the balls of the feet, once again, working each toe one at a time. You don't feel like you have to rush this. And then once you finish with your toes, coming back in towards center. And then working your way down to the heel once again, if you want to place your palms around the heel or use knuckles. For a few cycles, and then you're grabbing the foot totally, kind of wringing it out. Thanking it. Helps you move. Helped you get out of bed today. Helped you get to your mat. Awesome. And then meet once again with both feet kind of in your butterfly pose. One thumb in the solar plexus area and the other thumb in the other solar plexus area. And we'll take a few cycles of breath here. So if there's some people just kind of finishing up on their feet, we'll meet in the same spot. The feet can help root and ground us down too. So when they move us forward, they also keep us still. Beautiful. Okay, extend your feet long, your legs long. We'll just navigate the land here. So starting off with the legs at about hip distance apart, the heels are up, the toes are up. And just for this example, bring the toes together, and I'll show with my hands as well. Your hands can be down to the side. So the toes are together, and you'll point your toes forward, plantar flexing, so toes are forward. And then keeping the toes together, bring the toes up to the sky, and then have the toes come towards your face, dorsiflexing. And then this time, come into neutral, spread your toes nice and wide. And this time, point your toes forward in a plantar flexion. And maybe you feel some things are a little different. And then when you're ready, slowly bring the toes up. They're still spread, and then have them come towards the face in a dorsiflexion. Okay, so from here, I want you to play around, kind of figure out if you want to keep your toes spread nice and wide, or you want your toes together, or maybe you want them relaxed. And just go back and forth with some plantar flexing and dorsiflexing. And some of us will feel some different things going on in the ankle area as well. And if it feels good, maybe you realize you want to do some circular motions to get a little more going. And you can always reverse direction. then we'll just meet with the heels planted, toes up. And if you're wearing pants, this might be a little difficult to see on yourself, but don't worry about it. You want to try to keep the knee in line with the second and the third toe, but a lot of us have trouble with that because of how we stand. A lot of us, if we're standing on the outside of our feet, this area is shorter. Some of us like to stand on this side of the feet, so then the inner leg is shorter. So a lot of times our heels aren't rooted down, our toes aren't pointing up, and then we're not able to always line up the second toe with the knee because then the area of the calf is shortened. That's kind of the goal, but if you're not there, you're not there. It's cool. Like, we're just kind of all where we're at because of how we stand. So maybe you take a few more dorsa and plantar flexing and see if you can keep the knee in line with the second and third toe. And this is stuff that you can always practice on your own. Beautiful. Awesome. Okay, we got a little lay of the land there, so that's great. Now, I want you to slowly start coming to a tabletop pose. And we'll get ready for a little bit more of a practice. So knees are underneath the hips, hands are underneath the shoulders, fingers are spread nice and wide. Maybe you rock back on the heels of the hands really quick. Place the palms totally down, fingers are rooted down. Tops of the feet are touching the mat. Maybe you pad the feet a little bit as well. And then when you inhale, just drop the belly, tuck the toes under here so you're in your cow pose, but be mindful. Don't drop the belly too much and bring the heart too far forward. Keep the shoulders relaxed down and away from the ears. But while the toes are planted, push out through the heels and maybe you rock forward and back. So we're adding a little fun here to our cow pose. And then find a spot of stillness. And then place the tops of the feet into the mat. Tuck chin into chest and bring the belly button up into the spine and really press the tops of the feet into the mat, toenails as well. And while you're here, maybe you lift up the tops of the feet really quick and spread the toes or bring the toes together. Just kind of play with how you're placing the tops of the feet onto the mat. And notice this too, because we'll bring the tops of the feet back onto the mat here again. So take another full cycle of breath. And then flow just back and forth between your cat and cow. Now really being mindful of how your feet are working with you here. A lot of times this is a lot in the spine. We forget there's other parts that are making up the whole. Awesome. And then find a point of stillness. Move up just a smidge. Okay, from here, extend your right leg long and plant your right toes down and push out through the right heel here. You should feel a gentle stretch in the back calf. And maybe you rock forward and backwards. Beautiful. And then find a spot of stillness. Cool. I want you to set your right foot totally down, like it's being suctioned down to the ground, and make any adjustments that you need so you have a solid foundation. Press out through the pinky side of the right foot and slowly reach your right arm up high to the sky. So you're in a side plank pose variation. And while you're here, really focus on planting all parts of the foot down. And if you want, you're lifting up the toes, maybe you're spreading them wide and setting one down at a time. All right. And then reach your right arm across your right ear. So now you have this beautiful line from fingertips to the outside of the right foot. And then bring your right arm up high to the sky. Watch your right hand come down. And then your right knee places onto the mat. Bring the big toes together and allow the knees to come wide and find a child's pose. So the palms are planted. You're sitting back, and then if you want, you can lift the hips, tuck under the toes, and then place the bum back down, lowering the hips. So then you'll get a stretch in the bottom of the foot. So it just depends where you're at, or you might feel good keeping the tops of the feet engaged into the mat. And then let your next inhale guide you back into your tabletop pose. And let's do the other side. So set yourself up by extending your left leg long, planting the left foot onto the mat, or just the toes, and push out through the left heel. And if you want, you can rock forward and backwards. And then find a point of stillness. And then once again, setting your left foot onto the mat. Right hand is planted. Reach your left arm up high to the sky, pressing to the outside of the left foot. Okay, you can lift and spread your toes, or you can bring them together. Reaching the left arm up high to the sky. And then reach the left arm parallel to the left ear. Beautiful. Left arm comes up high. And then left hand comes down. Left knee plants back onto the mat. And then once again, settle back into your version of a child's pose. All right, from child's pose, we'll slowly shift forward back into tabletop. Tuck under the toes, lift both knees up, plank pose, pushing out through the heels. Maybe you rock forward and backwards. We won't be here very long. And then as you exhale, come up into your first downward dog. So hands are spread nice and wide. And from here, come up onto the balls of the feet and bring the heels down. And then if you can, on the balls of the feet, heels are reaching down. Some of us, our heels can touch. Some of us, our heels are not going to touch. Lift and spread the toes. And set the toes down. All right, take one more breath, maybe coming up onto the balls. Toes are planted. Exhale, heels come down. Take your full inhale. This time as you exhale, walk your feet to the back of your hands. Ooh, it's our first forward fold and our first standing pose. Okay. So I'm going to have you come up halfway. Gently fold forward. And then reach your arms up high to the sky carefully. And then down to the side. Cool. Okay. So hands are down to the side. Let's just stand here. Feel all aspects of your feet touching the mat. Don't adjust anything. Just feel where you're at. Just appreciate this grounding that you are creating for yourself right now. Take your full inhale, reach your arms up high to the sky. Fold forward in your exhale. And notice where your hands land. And then you'll find your version of a halfway lift. Belly button is coming into the spine. And then as you exhale, folding forward, reach your arms up high to the sky. And then meet back in mountain pose. Okay, from here, rock back gently onto the heels. Then rock onto the balls of the feet. Maybe you lift the heels. And then come onto the pinky edges. And then it's kind of hard because our hips get in the way. We can't always evert totally. But maybe you come onto the inner part of the foot and then set all aspects of your foot down. Okay, so from here, and I'll show this with my hands because it's hard on the computer screen. Lift all your toes. Okay, let's have a little fun. Try to set your big toe down and keep your other toes lifted. Cool. Lift your big toe up. All right, so from here, try to set your pinky toe down, just the pinky toes on both feet. And then lift your pinky toes up. Okay, toes are still spread nice and wide. Try to set all your toes down, maybe one at a time. Still breathing with me. Don't hold your breath. Cool. And then meet with your palms forward, down to the side. Take your full inhale in. Feel the new connection you've created. Reach your arms up high to the sky. And then fold forward as you exhale. Maybe you notice your fold is just a smidge deeper. Maybe not. Cool. Find your halfway lift. Fold forward. And then step your right foot back, followed by your left foot. Lower down slowly, so drop the knees. And notice here really quickly before you just untuck the toes, where are your toes at, where are your feet at? And then lower the chin and then the chest to the mat, and then release the taps of the feet. Feel the connection of the dorsal side of the feet touch. Hands are underneath the shoulders, and then as you inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest. Don't forget to keep the shoulders sliding down and away from the ears. And then as you exhale, release down, push into plank pose, and then your version of downward dog. And we're here for just a few cycles of breath. Maybe you play around with lifting the toes or rocking back and forth. Or maybe you're like, I'm good with stillness. Cool. All right, let's meet in downward dog. From here, reach your left leg high to the sky. Step your left foot through to your hands, coming into your high runner's lunge. Okay, usually I say, oh, push up through your right heel. But what I want you to do here first is get rooted down on this left foot. Maybe you lift and spread the toes. You feel all aspects of your foot touching the mat. And then you start pushing out through your right heel. Maybe you rock forward and backwards, keeping a nice strong spine. Awesome. And then gently drop the right knee down. Okay. You'll stay here, push out through the right heel, and then decide if you want to untuck the right toes or not. Okay, and then as you're going from here, keeping the left foot planted, slowly sink the left knee over the left ankle, gentle as can be. I'm not going to get a deep sink at all. My quads are tight, my hips are tight, so I'm moving like a hare today, which is cool, totally fine. And then knees coming in line with the hip. Once again, just reconnecting with your left foot. And then if you didn't already, I want you to place the top or the dorsal side of the right foot onto the mat, and then gently, keeping the top of the right foot engaged, lift the right knee up. So you'll feel a different type of stretch on the top side of the right foot. Pushing forward. We're here for one more breath. And then dropping the right knee down, tuck under the right toes, lift the right knee back into your high runner's lunge. Left foot meets right in your version of a plank pose. Take your full inhale. And then when you exhale, dropping the knees, the chin, the chest. And then finding the cobra pose as you inhale. Noticing where you're at. And then as you exhale, slowly pushing back into your downward dog. And we're doing a lot of focus on the feet here too, but I want you to just give yourself a little check in the hands. They're rooting and touching the ground. Shoulders are not creeping up towards the ears. One more cycle of breath, finding the movements that you need. And then reach your right leg high to the sky. Step your right foot through to your hands. Okay, same thing here. We're not rushing anything. Lift and spread all the toes of the right foot. Get rooted down, get grounded down, and then start pushing out through the left heel into your high runner's lunge, looking forward. Feel how the right foot is rooting down while the left heel is pushing out. There's a lot going on in the legs right now. One more full cycle of breath. And then drop your left knee and decide if you want to untuck your left toes yet or not. And then mindfully and carefully, slowly take the right knee over the right ankle, giving yourself a gentle lunge. And while you're doing this, okay, check your right foot. Are you noticing that you're putting a little more weight on the outer or the inner part of the foot? Where can you keep this the weight even as you're shifting and changing the weight your foot needs to distribute? One more breath here. And then find your right knee in line with the right ankle. And if you haven't already, tuck under the left toe so the top of the foot is onto the mat. And then carefully, hands are planted, lifting the left knee up. So you get a little dorsiflexion going with the left foot. And hopefully you don't get a cramp. I am, and I know it because I have there's a muscle in my inner foot that's a little short right now. So I'm just going to be gentle on that side. And then carefully dropping the left knee down, tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee back up. Have your right foot meet the left in your version of a plank pose. And then as you exhale, dropping the knees, the chin, the chest. As you inhale for your cobra, maybe you come up a little higher. And then as you exhale, slowly pushing back into your downward dog. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, lift your right leg high to the sky and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Drop your left knee down, and you can untuck your left toes or not. And then from here, place your right hand to the inside of your right thigh and slowly roll out onto the pinky side of the right foot. You will feel this more in the inner thigh, but it's kind of nice to see where your ankle is at. And then, while you're here too, notice, are your toes spreading apart? Are they coming together? One more breath. Beautiful. Set your right foot down. And then lift your left toes. Take your right foot back to meet left plank pose. And then find your downward dog. We'll switch sides. Take the left foot high to the sky. Step the left foot out to the outside of the left hand. Drop your right knee down, and then once again, left hand to the inside of the left thigh, slowly rolling out to the pinky side of the left foot. You're just playing around some range of motion. Be gentle. And then carefully and gently placing the left foot onto the mat. Left hand's back down, tuck under the right toes, left foot meets right foot, plank pose. And then find your way into your downward dog. Cool. Take 2 more breaths here. Maybe you move and suss around in your downward dog where you find stillness. All right. From here, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, and then have your left foot come to the outside of your left hand. So it's not quite a true forward fold or a wide forward fold. And then walk your hands forward. Come up halfway, okay? And then lift and spread the toes. If you can, come up onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels. Setting the heels down. And then find your forward fold again. The legs are still wide. And then keeping the feet rooted down. Slowly and carefully reach the arms up high to the sky. And then meet with the arms down to the side, palms forward. Same here, so your legs are a little bit wider, you're abducting the legs. And you just kind of feel how your weight has shifted a little bit in your feet. You have a wider base here, so you should feel a little more rooted and grounded. Cool. And then heel toe the feet about hips distance apart. Awesome. Reach your arms up high to the sky as you inhale. Fold as you exhale. Take a halfway lift here. Plant your hands, step your right foot back into your high runner's lunge. Okay, we're creating a solid foundation, all right? So how's your left foot doing? Is it rooted and grounded? And when it is, slowly come up, place your hands on your hips. Feel the connection you have with all aspects of your left foot rooted down, your right toes are rooted, you're pushing out through your right heel. All right, hands are still on your hips, and then gently set your right heel down. So you're setting yourself up for a warrior one leg. Feel, you've done this before, feel your right foot, the outside of your right foot connect into the mat. You did this with your side plank variation, okay? And when you have this connection, I want you to reach your arms up high to the sky for your warrior one. I hope you feel strong here. Like if a big wind came around, you're rooted, you're grounded, you're stable. Awesome. All right, open up to your warrior two now. So just open up your hips. Maybe you heel toe your foot out a little bit. Warrior two. Bend is still strong in the left knee. Your foundation is good and grounded. All right, so here in our warrior two, let's have a little fun. Maybe you're coming up onto the heels of the feet and you're just lifting the toes. Maybe you spread the toes a little bit and then set them back down. See if that changes anything for you. Beautiful. And then drop your right hand to the back of the right thigh. Left hand comes high to the sky for a peaceful warrior. Don't lock the right knee. Keep the bend strong in the left. You're good. And then as you exhale, come back into your warrior two. Slowly bring yourself back into your warrior one. Hands come onto the hips. And then you'll you'll slowly heel toe, not shift. Heel toe the right foot in a little bit. Straighten your left leg without locking the knee. All right, so we just shifted the weight a little bit. Notice if anything changes on your feet and how you can correct that so you have a solid foundation. And then when you're ready, slowly hinge forward halfway. Pausing here. And then if you want, you can reach your arms forward or come all the way down into your pyramid pose. Okay, keep your shoulders dropping down and away from the ears. Maybe the nose is coming towards your knees. Maybe you like this just half fold variation. And while you're here, Make sure that you're not favoring too much of one side of the foot over the other, that you have solid foundation in the front and the back foot. Rooting you down if you can. Maybe you lift and spread the toes. It might be hard, so don't lose your balance. One more breath. And then bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot and slowly walk yourself to the right side of your mat. And then have your toes and your feet rotate as well. So, we can do this from here. Okay, so rotate the toes towards the corners of the mat. The heels are in just slightly. Come up halfway here. Come onto the heels, lift and spread the toes. You've done this before, but just not as wide. And then set each toe down one at a time. And then come up onto the balls, lifting the heels. And then setting the heels down. And then when you are ready, slowly walk your hands down, coming into your wide-legged forward fold. So you should feel all aspects of each foot rooted down to the best of their ability. And be gentle. Maybe dropping the head a little bit. Two more breaths. And then slowly and carefully come up halfway and give yourself enough space coming up halfway where you can walk your hands towards the back of your mat, slowly framing your right foot, and then rotate your left heel and left toes up. So now you're in your high runner's lunge with your left foot back and right foot forward. Root down through all aspects of your right foot. If you have to lift and spread your toes, go for it. Feel the left heel lifted. And once you have your foundation, slowly come up, placing the hands on the hips. So you're up nice and tall. You feel supported in your right foot, your left toes. You're watching your knee. Maybe it's going over the second and the third toe, but if it's not, be gentle on yourself. Set your left heel down. Push out through the outside of the left foot, and then reach your arms up high to the sky for your strong warrior one. Keep the shoulders dropping down and away from the ears. Reach the fingertips up. Very strong warriors here. If you want one more breath, you can lift and spread your toes. Feel where you're putting weight on your feet. We're shifting the weight around as we're moving. So, make adjustments. And then slowly make your way into your warrior two. And that could mean heel toeing the left foot out a little bit. Bend is strong in the right knee. Looking out over the fingertips. Knowing that you shifted your weight again. Make the adjustments you need. Drop your left palm to the back of the left thigh. Right hand comes high to the sky for your peaceful warrior. You're doing great. Your feet are strong. They're rooted down. It's as if roots of the tree are growing over your feet, keeping you supported. Cool. Find your warrior two as you exhale. And then slowly find your warrior one. Hands are on your hips as you heel toe the left foot in just a little bit. Root down, straighten the right leg. Slowly hinge forward. As you're shifting the weight from left to right foot, from front to back, you're adjusting your feet each time. And then you find your version of pyramid pose that's going to serve you best. And once you have some stillness here, give yourself a little weight check in your feet. See if you can keep the weight even. One more breath. And then bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Slowly come wide again to the side of your mat. Big toes point towards the outside of the mat. Maybe heels point in. Come up halfway. Lift your toes. Set each one down one at a time. Lift, come up on the balls. Set the heels down. Maybe it's easier this time. And then if you would like, you can come into a forward fold and rest here, or you can stay in this halfway lift, coming forward a little bit. Left hand is underneath the face. Reach your right arm up high to the sky. As you inhale, give yourself a nice twist. And as you exhale, replace your left hand down. Replace your right hand to where your left hand is. Reach your left hand up high to the sky. And as you're doing this, once again, you're shifting your weight back and forth. So being mindful that parts of the foot, each foot isn't taking the brunt of the weight. You'll feel the difference between left and right foot, but make certain each part of the foot itself isn't being favored more than the other. And then if you're doing the rotation, this final rotation, find yourself halfway. If you're in your wide-legged forward fold, walk yourself halfway. Okay, so from here, your feet are rooted down. Hands are gonna come onto the hips. And then slowly and carefully bring yourself up high to, so you're standing wide-legged. Feet are rooted down. Cool. All right, arms come out to a T. All right. Turn your heels in, knees come out. So you're setting yourself up for your goddess pose. You might have to adjust a little bit. Okay, awesome. Lift and spread your toes, set each one down one at a time. Bend is strong in the knees. And then make your cactus arms. Okay, let's have a little fun with what you've created here in your balance of your feet. So shifting from left to right. See if you're favoring one side, like the lateral side or the medial side more than the other. And just be gentle. You know, if you're focusing on keeping even weight, maybe you're moving slowly. Or if you want to see how you're moving between the bases of your feet, you go a little quicker. It's your practice. And then find a point of stillness. Reach your arms up high as you straighten your legs. Give yourself a little back bend here, gentle. And then hands come onto the hips. Heel toe the feet together. So now you're in your mountain pose. Cool. Let's do another little measure here. So notice how you're standing. Reach your arms up high to the sky. Fold forward. See if your fold has deepened even a little bit more. Find a halfway lift. Gently fold forwards. Fold so deeply forward that eventually your bum touches the mat. Your feet are planted, your knees are up. Hug the knees into the chest and look forward. I'll face you. Okay. So with the knees hugged in, you can rock back onto the heels of the feet and you are able to lift your toes. Let's try this again. Set your big toe down. The big toes on both feet. And then lift both big toes up. This time just set the pinky toes down. And lift the pinky toes up. Maybe this got easier. Okay, and now from here, set each toe down one at a time. And feel aspects of both feet connect onto the mat. Beautiful. All right, tuck your chin into your chest and slowly lower down one vertebra at a time. Your feet are planted onto the mat. Cool. So we've shifted the weight yet again. And I want you to just come onto the heels quick, lift the toes, set the toes down, and then be mindful that you're not too much on the pinky side or the big toe side of the foot. See if you can find some equanimity here. Have your arms coming down to the side. Feel the entire spine plant into the mat. Feet are planted into the mat. And then slowly work your way up so you can feel your shoulders plant onto the mat. Maybe you rock your head from side to side. So you have this total connection with the posterior side of your body, or the back side. The side that is more young. Beautiful. Awesome. Find some stillness here. Give yourself a full cycle of breath. And then hug your knees into the chest. Push out through the heels. Toes are up. And it's your choice if you want your toes spread wide or not. Yogi's choice. And then have your arms come out to a T and allow your knees to fall over to the right side easily. And this is restful, okay? But at the same time, maybe, notice how you're pushing out through your feet. That you're not just allowing your feet to fall over to the right side. That they're mindfully put there, and that you're not just, with your right foot, that you're not just, collapsing onto the right side of the right foot. And that you're mindfully setting the inside of the left foot down, or it's resting on something. I think oftentimes when we're doing the supine twist, we're just like, okay, wherever everything lands, we're just gonna let it be, which is cool. But for this one, I want you to be aware of where your feet are. Take one more full cycle of breath here. And then as you inhale, slowly come back into center. Knees come into chest with you. And then as you exhale, allow them now to fall over to the left side. Once again, mindfully setting everything down, noticing what parts of your feet are coming in contact with what. One more full cycle of breath. And then as you inhale, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side. Yogi's choice, happy baby pose. So maybe take a hold of some part of your foot and really be cognizant of what you're holding on to, that you're not just grabbing for your happy baby. Notice what part of your hands are coming in, part of what part of your foot, and just, gently and lovingly have that connection. And then it's your choice. Do you want to make a little movement in your happy baby? Maybe not. Take a few more cycles of breath here. Find some stillness here in your happy baby. Just this appreciation and this connection that you have right now. And then bring the knees into the chest. Give the knees a gentle squeeze. And then extend one leg long. And then the other. Give yourself a full body stretch, fingertips to toe tips. Heels are touching the mat. Maybe you allow them to come up about hip distance apart. Wave your feet from side to side. And allow your feet to open up to the side. And maybe release any tension that you have. Maybe you have to do some foot circles. And welcome to your Shavasana. I'll call you back. Enjoy yourself.
joy ever.
All right, yogis. Slowly take a nice full inhale in through the nose. Exhale out. And then in your own way, make your way onto your left side. And push yourself up slowly. Hands are resting onto your thighs, or maybe you have them in heart center. Take a few cycles of breath here, completing your practice. Reach your arms up high to the sky. Bring your palms together, down to heart center. Give yourself a soft bow. I honor this place inside of me in which the entire universe dwells. It is a place of grounding. It is a place of peace. And it is a place of love. And when I'm in this place in me and you are in this place in you, together we are one. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.